Thanks for tuning in to Addiscope, where I talk about business, sports, and marketing. I'm Brian Cristiano, CEO of Bold Worldwide, and this is episode number 56. I talk about my new dog, she's pretty awesome, Google Cardboard for the New England Patriots, and S.M.A.R.T methodology for client expectations.
Sports marketing expert Brian Cristiano.
Brian Cristiano.
Sports fans are arguably the most passionate people probably on the face of this planet.
Marketers and advertisers and brands always have to keep in mind, you have to play to the state of your audience.
If you're not passionate, do something else. I'm really passionate this week, and it's super personal. There's a new addition to my family. My wife and I, we got a dog. Her name is Ellie. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's a golden mix of some sort. She's a rescue puppy, and we got her from In Our Hands Rescue. Just a really amazing service here in New York, and just really, really special dog. Can't believe that we're dog owners. We weren't planning on doing it. We went in, we saw this dog, and we just couldn't leave without her. Super special, and I'm gonna have to make sure she comes on the next episode, or a episode at some point when she's trained, and we'll get her take on some sports and marketing. But in all seriousness, absolutely such a cool thing. I'm super pumped, and I know my wife is as well. Product this week. This one's pretty cool. So I know we talk a lot about VR, about 360 video, and this episode's no exception. Google Cardboard, Bank of America, Visa, all partnered up with the New England Patriots, and they're going to be giving away 10,000 units of Google Cardboard for a VR/360 experience with the New England Patriots. The videos are already available online. If you Google it, you can find it pretty easily. And it's really awesome content. It's in the locker room, it's during practice, it's on the field, it gives you other couple of vantage points. It's really, really, really awesome. And they're going to be giving away 10,000 Google Cardboard units to show this off at the stadium. And this is, I think, one of the real first times we've seen brands partnering up with sponsors and teams all together to try to push this new immersive experience. You can experience it online without having to have Google Cardboard or any Oculus or the Samsung headset. If you want to scroll around on it, it is really cool, and I think this is just one of the new instances where teams are really stepping it up to get into the VR/360 game. Performance this week. This one is how we're basing a lot of the things we're doing here at Bold, something that's changed the methodology and the way that I think and do business. It's called the S.M.A.R.T method, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, but I don't think that many companies really take advantage of this thought process and methodology for measuring everything that they do, whether it's internal processes, external processes. But I think it's really important, even maybe most important, for setting client expectations. Regardless of the type of marketing campaign that it is, it needs to have some elements for you to be able to make sure not only do you match or exceed client expectations, but be able to measure against what the results that you're supposed to be getting for this client. We always talk about KPIs, key performance indicators. All right, what are the things that we're looking at the most? What data are we pulling if we're talking about a digital or social campaign, even a traditional campaign for that matter? But nobody really talks about, like, how do you make it so that it's very clear the expectations going in for the client, and very clear for how you're measuring it, what you're measuring against, and then how do you know if it's a success or not. So the S.M.A.R.T methodology, for anybody who doesn't know, is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So it has to be whatever it is. So if, let's say we're doing a social campaign, the results, the outcome has to be very specific. So are we driving clicks to a website? Are we driving conversions? Are we driving video engagement? What is it? It has to be very specific. It needs to also be measurable. So, for example, in a digital or social campaign, how many views did we get? How many clicks did we get? How many conversions did we get? Very completely measurable. Whereas I always talk about a lot of the traditional work, it's not very measurable. You can't count it. You can estimate it. Whereas on the digital and social side, it's very measurable. Is it attainable? A lot of clients say, hey, we've got X budget and this is how much of Y product we need to sell. Well, is that attainable? Is it realistic, right? Can that client actually sell that amount of product based on the budget that they're giving you, based on, where they're marketing, who they're marketing to, the product itself. Is it a good product? Does anyone care? So if it's not attainable, you're just setting yourself and the client up for failure right out of the gate. Then, of course, is it relevant, right? Is it relevant to what you're measuring? Is it relevant to the overall success of the campaign? So if you're measuring, let's say, for example, a really good one that comes up all the time is, oh, how many likes did something get? Or how many likes, or how many followers? This one's even better. How many followers does an Instagram account have? For example, who cares? How many people are engaging, right? How many people are following an Instagram account is irrelevant. How many people are engaging in that content is a relevant question. So that's what you have to do, is you have to make sure that whatever the KPIs you're setting up, are they relevant? Are you just throwing out numbers because they sound good? The number of impressions or the CPM, it can be completely irrelevant, or in some cases it can be relevant based on the outcome you're trying to reach. And then it has to be time-based. And of course with marketing, everything is time-based. When are we launching? When are we delivering? When are we executing? When does it end? And then when are we doing a report, right? So if you have all those things, right, if it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, then you can come up with specific outcomes for the client, or potential outcomes for the client, that you now know, did we hit this? Did we make it? Did we exceed it? Did we not get to it? And then if you didn't, why? You can figure those things out. So many times I've heard so many different buzzwords, statistics, data thrown in just because, and not because it's necessarily relevant. And I think a lot of clients and a lot of agencies set themselves up for failure by saying, by coming up with some outcome that isn't measurable, that isn't attainable, and isn't very specific. So there's no way to really make sure that you are hitting those goals. So make it smart, do it fast, and keep it simple, because simple is always better than complicated, I can tell you that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Make sure to tune in to Wednesday's episode. Got a really great interview coming up. If you like this episode of Out of Scope, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also make sure to comment and share, because the more people that watch, the better the content is going to be. Thanks so much, and make sure to tune in to the next episode.